welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be sharing with you our first week of homeschool. And instead of filming everyday vlogs for my two children, I've decided to film the activities for you, all of the materials that I use, and kind of group them by skills that we are working on. If you're new to my channel, I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I use Montessori at Home methods. My daughter is also enrolled remotely in the Montessori kindergarten, and with my son, I just work on the practical life activities and all of those things that develop his skills. Also, in true Montessori fashion, as you know, Montessori classrooms are actually multi-age classrooms where older peers take over the leadership role for the younger peers and teach them how to do certain activities. And we bring this principle at home. I'm going to start with phonetic awareness, and phonetic awareness activities in our household I actually done for both my 3-year-old and my 5-year-old. If you're not familiar what it is and what it looks like, it's an ability to break down the words by sounds. It's learning the sound of the letters. Typically in a Montessori classroom, you work on your phonetic awareness prior to learning how to read. It's a prerequisite to it. There's multiple activities that I've discussed in the springtime, such as rhyming, understanding what sounds each letter makes. So before moving on to any of those activities, you need to make sure that your child knows what sound is attached to which letter. The way to do it is going through alphabet cards with them, or just finding objects around the house and say, for example, what is the name of this letter? A, what sound does it make? Eh, eh, eh. So once that's out of the way, we actually right now work a lot on vowels. We also work, as far as the vowels, there's a series of books. I actually looked up online and they are available on Amazon. They're called Primary Phonics. I will link them for you below. The whole set of 6 books in this series was about $60. Just so you see what it looks like. This is a consonant workbook, and that's something we worked on actually in the spring. It gives you different consonants, and you go with your child by the phonetic sound of each consonant. Let's say worm, w, 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 and then your child has to write it out. There's the same principle, and it is vowels, and vowels are a little harder. And I actually, this week I focused a lot on vowels, so you'll see a few activities. Usually we do about 2 pages in each book, and a lot of the times actually the pictures start repeating, and at some point your child will be able to do this on their own. And this is the vowel workbook, and this is just a printout of it. And there is also this workbook. It is Primary Phonics 1, and this one actually, for example, on this page, this works on, like, the vowel in the middle of this word stays the same, and the first and last sound change. So on the first page you do, for example, cat, you write in C, and on this page you will have to write out cat with a T. So it's teaching your child to spell out words, and then, you know, goes on building up on it, like you start building sentences with each one of those words. Another way we practice our phonetic awareness is my phonetic objects box 1 that I purchased from a Montessori website. I've also shared it in my recent Montessori materials video. So you can see it, and I'll try to link the website below as well. But basically what it is, it's a set of objects that correspond to a card, and your child needs to be able to read those words. The words that I currently have in here are what it is called CDC words. So it's a short 3-letter words that have 2 vowels in between. It's either sound eh or ah. Like, for example, bug, bat, cat, cap, and all those, hat. Those are the first sounds that your child will start reading. I've done quite a few activities on those in my spring homeschool vlog, so if you want to go back and see how it's been done, check out my homeschool playlist. The way to raise the phonetic awareness in your child is to actually break down each single word you work with. You can use a movable alphabet from Montessori. If you don't have one, I actually use the letters from a Montessori material, or from a Melissa and Doug material, and we build out words. When we build out those words, we sound them out. Let's say it is cat. So what sounds do you hear? It's k, at. And that way Scarlett has a visual of those spell words that we're working on. Now, I am going to wrap it up with phonetic awareness. Again, every time you go outside with your child, especially if you have a younger kid, just look at the tree and say, tree. What letter does it start with? Sky. What letter does it start with? And then eventually, once you figure out the first letters, you can speak about the last letter, bat. And then once you build on this, you can bring in the middle vowels. Now, I am going to move on to our writing activities because they are closely connected to the reading activities. And I have this primary journal that Scarlett loves. That's her favorite thing. Basically what it is you can draw a picture and then you write about what you've drawn on the picture. So she has done, I love my family, I, Nova and I, that's her friend, mommy. So this is a great way also to practice phonetic awareness actually, because when we write those out, I don't tell her which letter she needs to write. We kind of go through it. Okay, you want to write hula dance. Okay, what letter, what sound do you hear? And then she'll say, and she knows that's letter H. I'm like, okay, so let's write letter H, and we go through each single part in this, and then she writes it out. Eventually, she'll be able, with a lot of practice, she'll be able to write it out. Together with writing practice, we still do quite a bit of tracing. Like for example, we're doing Scarlett Stevenson. I have not worked on her last name yet. We're working on her first name. When I named my child, I never thought about how complex her name is. So we're good with the first part of it. Now we need to put down the second part. And then the other thing I'm doing with the letters as well is the sequencing of the alphabet. It's not that she cannot sing the song, but actually like when she writes out the alphabet, so she's able to fill in. This is a very easy to replicate kind of material. Mine is a printout and I laminated it, but you basically can just write out all the letters and skip either some of them, and then your child needs to fill them in. We also do writing tracing for the days of the week. That's something I'm working on with them. And this, for Justin, what I do is pretty much letter formation. So we're working on him to be able to do all kinds of lines, also write out his name. He's at the point of tracing it. He's not at a full point of independently writing it. What I usually do on any material that he completes, I write his name in a lighter marker, whether it's yellow, where it is something, something not as visible, and then he traces it on top. So this week I have not done much of the number practice with Scarlett. I've done some with Justin. The only thing I did with Scarlett was odd and even. This is actually the material that came from the school for her. So we just went through, odd, it doesn't have a pair. Even, it has a pair, and counting in pairs can be also attached to it. With Justin, I did counting from 1 through 10 and number correspondence, which he actually is capable of independently count through past 50, and he just understands the concept of it. It's more for him to, I guess, follow the directions. That's where I am working on. When you're homeschooling your children, it's not all about letters, numbers, reading, and all that stuff, which is necessary but not always fun. It's always good to introduce certain activities that are just fun for children. So we've learned the life cycle of a sea turtle, and it incorporated lots of cutting, lots of fine motor skills practice. That actually leads me to my next part, is the fine motor skills and practical life activities. My 3-year-old spends lots of time in his practical life, and he's been working mainly on the 2 materials that I recently purchased. It's the screwdriver board, which defines the fine motor skills. You have to hold the bolts in a certain way, and it's kind of hard to twist the screwdriver. Is rather small, so that defines his fine motor skills and develops his hand in preparation for writing. The next material he's been working with is a mirror polishing. And that activity works on sequencing. Now, a lot of Montessori materials might seem like, why would you even do those things with your children? They actually have the reason. First of all the materials are presented from left to right in preparation and training your eye for writing and reading. And then also it's a certain sequence of steps. Sequencing is really important for young children, just like pattern making. It actually is a prerequisite for being successful in reading comprehension and math. So this mirror polishing activity works on all of those, plus it develops fine motor skills of closing and opening the bottle, completing the task, and all those great things. When it comes to my daughter, she is not doing much of practical life activities at this point. She still enjoys it sometimes, but it's more fun for her. But what she does and where she is right now is actually making her own food. And I am planning on teaching her how to make her own salads from the salad mixes, which honestly doesn't require much chopping. It's more of, again, sequence of steps. She has been doing her own vegan treats without any prompts from me, so she just has the materials, she comes and makes it. Today we probably will be doing a charcuterie board, so I will film that and layer it on top of here. So introducing everyday life activities like self-dressing, care of self, brushing your hair, brushing your teeth, and then cooking and cleaning up after yourself. All of those are part of practical life. Now, the next thing that we do with Justin for his fine motor skills is also cutting. Cutting is a great activity for it to be able to stay on the line and follow the line. So that's one of the things that we've also done this. The benefits of homeschooling your children is that you can adjust your schedule the way you want it and see where your children are at that certain time of the day. I love bringing in a creative process as well. And after this video, there will be one more video coming on the crafts that we have done that are developmental, fun, and also engage learning those skills in a more fun way that is not necessarily Montessori related, but is very beneficial for their development nonetheless. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I gave you ideas on what to work with your children during this homeschool environment. If you're homeschooling, if you're just looking to supplement the activities they're doing at school, or you're doing remote learning, please feel free to ask me any questions and subscribe to my channel for this kind of content, because this whole school year I'll be sharing with you my ideas and how I approach it. If you have any questions or video requests, leave them below. And my routine is coming when we do have a routine. It's been the first week and I still did not find my groove. It's kind of been here and there, and which it might be the routine in the future, but hopefully I will be able to share that with you soon. I hope to see you, and subscribe and be part of our family.